Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, this is Boisterous coming to you with some Silver League sexiness out of the map Star Station TE. Spawning up here in the top left-hand corner, we do have FuzzBunny as our red Protoss player, and down here in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent Razgriz spawning in as the blue Protoss. And can I just say one thing to Blizzard real fast? Star Station blows. I mean, not as a map. It's a pretty decent map. I like it a lot. I like it a lot more now that they've removed the two natural bases. I mean, as far as recording goes, this is like the most annoying experience I have ever had trying to capture a game. Literally, I've been sitting here for 40 minutes. I've had to restart my computer twice. And I have just finally managed to get my frames up to a decent, like, 30. Before, it was sitting between, like, 4 and 20 constantly. And now I finally managed to fix it. It only took me like about 2/3 of an hour. So thank you for that, Blizzard. It looks like we are going to have a pylon on the low ground for FuzzBunny. A little bit of an early scout here for both of our players. It's interesting to see what FuzzBunny is going to go for. I would say that he's going for a Gateway Fast Expand, but it's Silver League, so it's probably going to be a Forge. Yeah, it's a Forge. That's really not a question. And he did send out the scout quite early, which kind of makes me question... It's not a scout. That's not a scout. This is a scout. That's not a scout. That was the worst Australian accent in the world. Oh my god. Oh god, that was horrible. And it looks like we are going to have Razgriz managing to send this probe up here. He will see something a little bit creepy in the fact that there is no second pylon yet. And there's actually not a lot of probes. However, he doesn't get a full scout out, so he really doesn't know what's going down here. However, I mean, he should probably send a probe to run out and scout around his base, especially after seeing something like that, because that is a mysterious lack of probes. Because there's like no probes here. We do have FuzzBunny, interestingly enough, decided to drop the photon cannon at his main base. Not the choice I would make personally, because if you're gonna photon cannon rush, you just fucking photon cannon rush. There's no real halvesies on the photon cannon rush. You can't just be like, well, I mean, I'm gonna go Forge first. I'm not gonna build a gateway for like 4 minutes, and I'm just gonna build the photon cannons. But I'm gonna do it defensively. I'm gonna build the first one at my base so that I can really expand out of it and really get out of it as a strategy, especially when you build your first gateway offensively in your opponent's base. Kind of hard to switch out of this strategy right now. I mean, he's pretty much fully committed without a question at this point. It looks like we are going to have a probe sent up here. It will be kicked off by the photon cannons, and Razgriz is kind of in that situation where he's just like, Alright, so the Silent is going to be heading up here. It's going to be trying to snipe off that probe, but that probe is going to be a lot sneakier than it will have to. The probe is going to be one sneaky bastard. It's going to be extremely hard for Razgriz to be able to snipe off this probe. And are these this photon cannon is most certainly in range for Nexus. This one might be like on the fence, but I don't think it's quite there. But it looks like the Stalker is going to come out, so neither of these photon cannons should be allowed to finish. This Stalker should at least be able to lower the shields on this one to such a point that it can really just pick it off as soon as it finishes, without too much danger, as it looks like this photon cannon will go up, but I mean, it'll have like 100 health left. So versus a 1v1 with a Stalker, the Stalker should win, maybe? It looks like we are going to have the Zealot rushing up here anyway. Definitely a good choice, getting that little extra damage off, so that the hull damage from the Stalker does not quite get unbearable. However, it looks like this army from Razgriz is going to be good enough to hold his main base right now, and that is going to be the really important part of this engagement. Because, honestly, I mean, if Razgriz can hold here, he's in a very good spot. It's going to be hard for FuzzBunny to actually really move out and do anything after a hold happens at this point, and Razgriz with just some nice macro, not really getting panicky, because the panicky play would have been to pull all of his probes, and that might have killed him, because... I mean, even when you're up in army, if you're down in economy, especially versus someone that has a base in your base, you're going to start running into some troubles. But Razgriz really hasn't slowed down at all. In fact, he's now just going for Stargates, which is probably the safest follow-up here. Because, I mean, you always have a danger with something like this, where your opponent's going to get an army and be able to push onto you. However, he's never going to be able to build up a large enough Stalker army to fight off any amount of Stargate. Especially when you build just one Oracle and send it across the map, it's going to be literally impossible for FuzzBunny to fight that off. Now, granted, an Immortal might work a little bit better. However, I mean, yeah, I think an Immortal would have been a slightly better choice. However, it does give Razgriz a nice amount of mobility, and it means that even if FuzzBunny builds something at home, it's not quite going to be a game ender. If he's really playing this super well and playing it well at home, which he isn't. I mean, he hasn't built a probe for the last like 7 minutes, and he's now banking up to 600 resources. So FuzzBunny could definitely be playing this a lot better. I mean, he has 3 photon cannons at home, so he's definitely still in that stage of like, you know, I'm not all in yet. You know, I'm still playing. I'm playing pretty defensively. Okay, all right, I know how to play defensively. Interestingly, we have just straight oracles coming out. Not the decision I would have made. I would have made like 1 oracle and then switched over to Void Rays. But you know, I'm not going to question the man. Maybe he just likes oracles. Maybe he's a big Delphi fan. That's really my only thought here for Razgriz. And it looks like we are going to have my frame rate dropping ever so slightly because yet again, Star Station is a bitch. As I just slowly scroll over photon cannons. I mean, photon cannons, not the most resource intensive thing in StarCraft. However, again, the map as a whole just hates me. It might be this large blue disky thing that's really screwing up my my frame rates. It's probably the large blue disky thing. Either that, or these stars that are zooming by, because you know you really need ambiance on a map in StarCraft. You really need it to look this pretty. You really need the projected lights, Blizzard. Yeah, you really need them. Yeah. Okay, so anyway, as I get past that little bit of contempt, we are going to have Razgriz building up a little bit of an army of oracles, actually. Kind of surprised to see him wait that long. I would have expected him to go a little bit faster, because FuzzBunny, if he was smart, yet again, I mean, he's pretty clearly not. But if he was, he would already have a couple of photon cannons up in his main base. He probably would have only gone like 1 here, but actually put it in a solid position instead of having it used to block his wall off. And these oracles are not going to be fun for these probes. Wow. And there goes the entire economy of FuzzBunny. Literally every probe just died there. There's 2 probes on this simulator, and there's 1 probe on this simulator. There's now no probes. There's 1 probe left for FuzzBunny. Actually, I think no, the other probe got cleaned up. So FuzzBunny completely denied there. Really, it was a little bit sad. I could kind of feel the beating. Just like, I could feel like the air just like pumping out of his lungs as he was just getting pummeled to death by Razgriz. So, yeah, nice job, Razgriz. You know, that was definitely an interesting cheat strategy. Again, I would have liked it better if FuzzBunny actually kind of stepped forward more earlier, because if he had his first photon cannon in the main base of his opponent, he actually would have been able to get to a spot where he would have been in Nexus range before that first Stalker popped out, which would have been a very different game. Because when that first Stalker pops out, it can stop any more photon cannons from popping up. But if there's already a photon cannon in range to stop that Nexus, suddenly you have an issue where you're going to have to sacrifice a lot of probes to get that photon cannon down, or you're going to have to lose your Nexus. Neither of what you really want, especially if you don't have the money to rebuild your Nexus. You're going to have to go with sacrificing the probes. Either that, or you're going to have to pull everything and go start building a Nexus somewhere else, which is really not favorable because you can just get photon cannon rushed over there as well. So anyway, guys, if you want more Boisterous action, head on over to youtube.com/user/BoisterousSC2. Also, if you would like me to commentate your games, and trust me, I would love to have them. Yet again, kind of cleared out my inbox, kind of by accident, kind of on purpose, mostly by accident. So I do need your games, and you can send those on into boisteroussc2@gmail.com. And also, if you want to just check out my other channel that I am currently working on with a friend, it's the fucking Casuals over on YouTube. We play a lot of different games. We're playing, you know, Battlefield 4, Payday 2. We're playing all sorts of stuff. It's a little bit more of a casual experience with us just messing around in games rather than, you know, hardcore commentary. So anyway, guys, this is Boisterous, signing out.